face, I got the face, I got the face. We got you, we got you. Now I know who you are.
Well, a couple in Wisconsin facing charges. They are accused of leaving their 4-year-old alone at home to participate in a clown prank.
A man caught wearing a scary clown outfit outside a local Walmart says that he meant no harm.
Got word that Bastrop's school police have arrested 4 people in connection with recent clown threats made in schools in Bastrop and Cedar Creek and Smithville.
Killer clowns, a recent phenomena sweeping the Western world. It began in the UK in September 2016, where a clown in Newcastle leapt out of the bushes, scaring unsuspecting passers-by. So what is it about this craze that has captured our fascination and fear? For thousands of years, clowns weren't seen as creepy. In 19th century London, we saw the rise of Joseph Grimaldi, a clown who gave way to many of the pantomime sayings we still use today. Slowly, clowns fell out of fashion, mainly due to the serial killer cases such as killer clown John Wayne Gacy, who famously dressed as Pogo the Clown. He raped and murdered 33 adolescent boys in the 1970s, later stating, "A clown can get away with murder."
I have no qualms about doing that. I've had confession, I have communion, and I am at peace with myself.
Now, the 2016 killer clown craze has hit our screens. People dressed up in clown masks terrorising innocent civilians. So is it just a harmless prank? Or is it a deeper, darker issue?
It's not going to explain all of the incidences, but there's an awful lot of motivation, there's an awful lot of preparation, there's an awful lot of risk. There's a complete cutting off of any sense of empathy to be able to perpetrate such an act violently. You would be curious about the kinds of things that would motivate somebody in that way.
We're travelling across England to piece together the story of the killer clowns and to try and find out why killer clowns are on the rise. We travel to Weston-super-Mare to meet with a pair of clown hunters.
You feel like you're providing a service to people. You feel like you're doing your bit for the greater good. You personally have been massively affected by clowns.
Yeah, I hate
as
clowns.
A child.
Absolutely hate clowns. I grew up and watched the original It, Stephen King, and I also watched a programme called Are You Afraid of the Dark, which had a clown on it as well. And ever since I've watched that, I absolutely hate clowns.
What's your main weapon when you go out to hunt? What's his name?
We call this one Caden.
We were invited to follow Ryan and Craig on a clown hunt around the cold, wet streets of Weston. So where did you get this tip off?
We use that app, Google Maps, and as you can, obviously there's so many Facebook groups, you get ridiculous amounts of messages and little tip-offs. I'd show you a page, but you've got to be a member. Go up the road a little bit.
What's happened?
Well, we've had this tip-off that this guy's been down here for weeks, and he's been looking for us. So instead of us being safe, and we're just going to have to go in and just go and pretty much get this done. We've had a couple of phone calls now, so you ready? Could be a big tip off. We don't know, but doors only open from one side, so that possibly means that it's a layer or just the wrong door.
So me and my friends were walking down the street and we heard this sinister, really weird laugh. So we just carried on walking. We didn't think it was anything. And then we heard footsteps walking behind us, and then I turned around and there was this clown just standing there, and he kept on walking towards us, and I was too scared, so I just stayed where I was. The next thing I knew, I was on the floor with loads of blood pouring out of my head, and all my friends were trying to get me back up. And then I was in hospital.
Previous killers have adopted the clown look in their crimes. Why is it that criminals like to adopt this clown image in these crimes?
Apart from anonymity it gives them, and a lack of opportunity to identify them, I just think it generally makes them feel as if they're being more intimidating, as it's difficult to see people's emotions behind a mask.
What charges can these clowns meet if caught scaring people?
A couple of acts under the Public Order Act, which vary in severity, but it's basically using threatening behaviour and words towards another person, intending them to be to cause harassment, alarm and distress, which generally the clown craze would do to most normal people.
I think that the killer clown craze is nothing new. I think that in the old days, if a kid saw a witch, for example, they would scream off and they'd go to their village and they'd say, I just saw a witch in the forest, and there would be whatever they did to witches in those days.
Years ago, there were the same masks with the other films, Freddy Krueger and the other scary masks, but not to this extent. I think it's become far more sinister with the advent of social media.
The problem is that we now have social media, and so the village is the whole world. So if one person sees a clown, you get mass hysteria spreading all over the world.
Eerie epidemic that's hit the nation, now scaring parents and students in St. Joseph. A creepy clown sending messages and threatening young kids.
13-year-old Ethan Ships is one St. Joseph student who received weird messages from accounts all disguised as clowns, and he's not alone.
A couple of my friends have been getting messages from him.
The messages said things like, I'm coming for you and your friends, even going as far as to make a threat to the school district itself.
I don't know what to think, because I don't know if they're actually going to do it. I mean, that's kind of messed up.
The hysteria surrounding clowns and the obvious impact on the public is showing, filling up news bulletins and taking over our timelines on social media. We are surrounded by the current phenomenon. This will no doubt die down when another phenomena captures our imagination.
My name is Quinn Beasley, stage name The Mighty Quinn, and I am a professional comedy juggler / street performer. Street performing, I started when I was about 16. I had a circus coach that took me in and was like, you've got all the skills to do a great street show. And he like took me out to the pitch and did a show with him, and I just fell in love with it ever since. I mean, like, I haven't really noticed any effects because like I don't dress up like a clown, but one thing I did have is I had one of those clowns walk into my show once. I don't know if I should tell this story, but it's kind of funny. He walked into my show, and I was standing on my case, and he put his hands in between my legs, and I was holding my whip, and I turned around, and I was like, "Get out of here, clown!" And then I cracked the whip right next to his head, and then he stumbled, and the whole crowd started cheering, and then a bunch of police officers were there, and they were cheering as well. So it's only been good for me, actually. I think people know the difference between like a crazy killer clown and someone who's doing it for work, because it's not the same thing at all.